As the clock ticks down to COP27, experts warn time is running out for the planet.
Temperatures are on course to rise by as much as 2.8 degrees by the end of the century.
45,000 delegates are expected to take part in the climate conference. The focus this year on climate finance and loss and damage funding.
Developed countries are the countries principally responsible for global warming. So we need to try to provide assistance for developing countries to shift into renewable energy sources.
Heading into this year's event, the mood is grim.
Unfortunately, my real expectations going there are very low because we see very limited progress. So I'm really worried.
Very few countries have followed through on their 2021 vows to ramp up climate pledges. 169 countries have not updated their climate commitments. And of the 24 countries that did, only a handful, including Australia, had more ambitious targets. In the 12 months since COP26, the Earth has seen wildfires devastate Europe and North America and heatwaves strike India and China. Today, Australia is coping with floods as Africa faces a devastating drought.
Across the Horn of Africa, we have over 20 million people, and mostly it's the women and the children that are on the front line.
But amid the bleak outlook, there remain signs of hope. Renewable energy uptake is surging, and Brazil has just elected a president who's vowed to protect the Amazon.
There are multiple reasons to be hopeful. The new Australian government now has a legally binding target of at least 43% emission reductions by 2030.
Australia is likely to be greeted more warmly than last year, with the new government's emissions commitment seen as crucial progress. But the PM won't be attending, meaning he'll avoid awkward conversations about our ongoing coal exports.
The export of coal and the export of fossil gas make Australia the 5th largest contributor to global warming.
So with the countdown becoming more desperate, will an increased sense of urgency finally deliver results before it's too late? Well, making her debut on the project desk with us tonight is journalist and author Elfie Scott. Great to see you, Elfie.
Hey.
I know a lot of the work you've done is in environmental reporting. On the face of it, this all looks pretty grim.
Yeah, honestly, it is quite grim, isn't it? It's really disappointing to see this kind of atmosphere leading up to COP when it should be a time of optimism and mobilisation. And yet people are pulling out. There aren't leaders turning up to it. Activists are saying it's going to be a waste of time. I really hope that despite all of these global distractions, there is going to be some action that we can look to.
Does the fact that obviously the war in Ukraine and what Russia's doing is having a big impact on the way we use energy and people kind of flocking back to fossil fuels, is there a silver lining to that longer term?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I do think that even though people are pulling that ripcord and looking towards fossil fuels because of the war in Ukraine, there is this longer term outlook where people are looking towards renewables because they know that's the more viable, sensible option. So, yeah, look, hopefully we see action at COP, and I really hope that despite this sort of grim outlook, there's no defeatism heading into this because there's still so much time.